Hey, what's up? It's another episode of Watch You Strappin. These are not watch reviews exactly, but more of a wristwatch check with a strap pairing usually. But have been considering these basically, and these should have been considered like really additional, supplemental information to either a watch review if I've done one. If not, they're just simply ongoing user experience, videos and just sharing my thoughts and feelings and whatnot about particular watch and perhaps also the strap I paired it with. And yeah, that's how it goes. Um, Oh, I think I should add something else here. But anyways, I'm pretty stoked and happy about this today, this particular episode. I've recently uploaded some videos showing this unboxing and some of the little bit of examinations and little tweaks and work that I've been doing to this watch to get it up to par so that I can finally enjoy this. This is the first day I've enjoyed this in a long time. I mean, this really has been a watch that has meant a lot to me. Not this specific actual one, but I did used to own one just like this many years ago. It was my first luxury watch I bought for myself about 30 years ago in 1995 that is. And right now it's 2025. And I'm going to go into the more of a full story on that in another video. So I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible, just to do a watch you strap in episode, which can get kind of long too sometimes if I got a lot to say. And I can have a lot to say about this because there is a lot of meaning for me to get this watch back. But anyways, I mean, basically, I've had this for about a week. I got it about last Friday. This is the following Friday. After looking it over, decided a few things I needed to do with it. So just to get over it quickly, this, by the way, is on its factory bracelet. It's kind of a Jubilee style, but not really. And but I like it. I mean, it's simple. The class works. Of course, there's no on-the-fly adjustment. This is a watch, after all, from 1995. But it is of the era, but I like it. It's slim. The links are much more solid than I originally thought they would be. I thought they were all hollow or something for some reason. My recollection thought it was, more jangly, but no, it actually is solid in links. Even these high polish ones, which the smaller center length, they can often be made a bit thinner or hollow, as you might have seen at least on some of the older like SKX bracelets on the Seikos. But anyways, yeah, it's not bad. It's 19 millimeters, tapers down to, I reckon, about 16 maybe. I'm not sure. I forgot. I thought I did the measurements, but maybe it's closer to 17. I don't know, but it's a good taper. It's comfortable, and it fits. And this is a 30, I believe this is 37 millimeter watch. So it's very cool in terms of being in line with sort of some things that have been on trend, which is downsizing watches. But I'm not in the camp of having to necessarily downsize everything. I do maintain some watches that are on the larger side. I mean, I have a 43 millimeter, two 43 millimeter chronographs. But and in general these days, I try to trend more towards between 40 and 39 millimeters for watches. Sometimes 38 is good too, and 37 is not bad either. It's a good size with going more compact and petite without going too much. I think this is on my 7-inch wrist, and it's very much kind of on trend with, say, some other watches that have been released somewhat recently, and maybe even very recently, in the 37 millimeter range. Most notable in the dive watch realm would be the Black Bay 54. That is 37 millimeters. And actually, because if you look, the case is actually wider than the bezel. The bezel actually measures closer to 35, so it does wear smaller too in that sense. But I like it. I mean, this is, for me, the original white dial, black bezel dive watch. It's something that, if you follow my channel and just the journey I've been going through, I've gone through a lot based off of the fact that this used to be my watch before and I lost it some 18 years ago. So yeah, that I had it for basically 12 years straight, but then I lost it at some point after I moved into a new house. I was fixing up some part of the garage, and I think I took it off and maybe accidentally trashed it, perhaps. I don't know. Some part of me hopes that it was still in the house somewhere, but I've never been able to find it. And I've been looking for an example to get back into my collection because, everything that I've done, well, not everything, but a lot that I've done to reclaim this white dial, black bezel, diver look has come in so many other forms. I'm going to list it in another video. And then ultimately it comes back to this one that I had way back. And to most people, this is nothing special. I mean, it's just a very Submariner-ish design. Obviously, not so much the case, but the rest of it, bezel and dial, fairly close. But though they did switch around the dots, the circle, and the baton markers, where it would be the other way around on something like a Submariner. But I like that. This is kind of the TAG Heuer way of doing things. And even somewhat recently, I think Longines, one of their Hydro Conquest, right, their divers, more modern iterations have done something similar with the baton hour markers and indexes. But anyways, going back to this watch, yeah, I mean, it's a quartz watch. It's quartz diver 200. It's fairly simple, but I don't care. I mean, it's not about me trying to impress anybody at all. It never has been. It's just whatever I like and what gives me a certain feeling. And that's what I've been really focusing on, making sure that what I try to purchase and keep in my collection moving forward is at that level that it's like it means something more and it's really something that I want, and it just makes me feel a certain way. And this, I could tell you, this was the original watch I had gone through so much with it. I mean, 12 years. But again, that's for another story. But yeah, just really enjoying this finally. Taking some time off just to do some family stuff, helping out. But as I was, I finally got this restored, basically, cleaned and tightened up, I guess, and some areas fixed. As you may have seen in the videos prior, I just basically, what did I do? The bracelet I sized, that's nothing big there. Mainly the end links, the hollow end links, I tighten up. I just kind of tweak them a bit with some protective pliers and got them better, tighter, and fairly decently fitted. And I'm pretty happy with where those are at. And the bezel, it wasn't perfectly aligned for one thing. It was a bit off, and the seller did give me an extra bezel click spring to swap out, to try out, and it does work better too, and it actually operates smoother, not nearly as tight, but it does have solid clicks, but it's much softer and easier to do. So I think it's a good perfect balance on that. And the pip was originally, it should have been there, but it was missing when I got it. I think he had tried to, well, he said he had tried to swap the click spring for me, and perhaps during that process it got loose or popped out or lost, whatever. He did refund me a fair amount to compensate to get a bezel replacement. But the one that really would be a proper replacement is more than what he compensated. There are some copies out there that have like a more Submariner pip that pops out, which I didn't want. And I figured, and also when I popped this bezel off and looked at it, there's actually this, I don't know what you call it, but it is inset within like a silver frame. There's actually a piece of metal between, like a wall, thin, small wall of metal between the crystal and the bezel insert in some watches. And it's more noticeable in other watches. And I've noted this in some of my other videos that have had that, some watches that have had that. I don't know what you call that specific thing, but it's kind of a neat metal frame between the bezel insert or bezel and the crystal, which I like. It just gives it a little extra detail and kind of frames up and separates the elements or the components a bit more. I like that. And anyways, that's what's going on with this. And to get this bezel insert out, it would probably destroy it, because I don't think I tried a method to try to remove it with a solvent to loosen up the potentially the adhesive that was used, which is usually like a double-sided tape of some sort, and that usually works. But I believe when I checked with the owner or seller of this, he said that he's I think he said he saw that the watchmaker had replaced it with or maybe held it down with maybe some dab of silicone or something. Otherwise, it just seems that solvent wasn't working, and basically I would have to where the loom pip was gone, but I would think I'd either have to go into the edges, which is really tight, and I wouldn't want to pry it from the edges around the bezel insert, because you'll probably damage the bezel and the frame and, you know, whatever's around the metal around the bezel insert. So you'd probably have to go into the pip and find a way to just get something under there and just dig it up and yank, you know, pull it out, and probably get all ganked and damaged in that process. But that's if I really wanted to replace the bezel insert. And with that in mind, no, I didn't. I just figured I had some loom formula, and I reloomed it myself, and I added after that, let it set, and I just try to protect it further by adding a couple layers of clear enamel over that, and as well as from behind, just to make sure, you know, it's just an extra layer of protection for the loom that I painted in there. And, you know, this may not be original, but I think at least it's better than a hole there, and I think it's close enough to, you know, looking complete overall. You know, I normally wouldn't expect the loom pip to completely match the loom material or application that's on the dial and handset. They're just different parts, you know. Outside will get exposed and require a certain you know, performance, I guess, versus what's underneath the crystal and on the dial. It's probably doesn't need to be nearly as protected, I guess, and, you know, it might be made up of a slightly different compound because of that. But yeah, I think it's fine. It does the job. The loom is not particularly strong on these things anyways, like on the dial, the original loom. And I think the bezel, if I can recall, too. But, you know, if I just charge it in the sun or some light and go into darkness, I mean, you can see it for a little bit, and good enough. I mean, not expecting much for something that's old and of this period, per se. Though TAG Heuer's loom form has definitely improved, because the solographs that I got for both the F1, the Formula One, the new one that came out, as well as an aqua racer, has been really good. Long-lasting, reactive, no problems there at all. But I don't mind. This is, you know, a neo-vintage, right? 90s, mid-90s. I wouldn't consider it necessarily vintage yet. Although, I don't know, 30 years, that is pushing, I would say that is kind of pushing into the vintage territory at this point in 2025. But I still consider it neo-vintage. Whatever, it's not up to date, but I did really like this design. This is design that I picked out for myself back on a trip in Hong Kong. And but yeah, again, I'll go into that more later. I don't want to get this too long, but yeah, I just really appreciate having my original white dial black bezel diver back, and it's cool. I'll wait, you know, it's going to be interesting, and I think fun to see how, you know, where my tastes have evolved and hopefully have grown and improved over time, and an appreciation for a bunch of watches, and how I can especially accessorize with them, just what I can potentially do with this. As you know, I'm a bit of a strap junkie, as a lot of the the series has shown, and this does have 19 millimeters, but I do have a number of 19 millimeter straps, and I look forward to you know, giving it a go and seeing like what this could work on. I'm sure a nice rubber strap would be cool. I think a gray NATO. I actually did get one for this, so I think that would be good. And yeah, just mixing it up and finally enjoying it back again on the wrist. So I'll guess I'll leave it at that. Otherwise, I'm gonna blab on more, and I do have a few other things to do for the day. But yeah, just wanted to share this. Just getting something back. I mean, I'm looking back, and I'll get to this in a new state of the collection video. I mean, my approach towards watch collecting, and it's I think I found a focus now and a good place to kind of hone in on for for myself personally, and it doesn't necessarily include the newest things. In fact, it has maybe included, it will include, if not already, a number of older things such as this, um, if not some bit of a reissue. But yeah, there's always new, latest and greatest stuff, and things you can really blow your money on if you have it, and even if you don't, maybe if you just want to just go for it. But I think for me, keeping it simple and really reducing my collection to what really, you know, hits a chord with me is the important thing right now. Especially these days. I mean, prices of watches are going up, and I think a lot of us, as you may have noticed, are, especially this year, if not starting last year, has started to taper on their buying habits. I think there's been a surge, trying all this and that, and you just realize, wow, I got too many watches, and maybe no story behind them necessarily. You just keep buying and buying, and then you don't have necessarily all the time to wear all of them, and just realize, you know, maybe I didn't have to buy that many stuff. I should just focus in on some more meaningful pieces and stuff that I really want, instead of just a lot of probably impulse buys, or simply because you can buy it, or just out of curiosity. Sometimes it's just, well, you can check. Maybe there's a way to check it out in some other fashion besides just buying it. That might be good, just to check it out. You can admire and appreciate a lot of things without necessarily getting it. Although there are a few things that at least I'm discovering or trying to stay focused on, that there are a few things that I really would like to keep and have in my watch collection, and keep in a more frequent rotation, instead of pausing like months or weeks between. Maybe weeks. I might do that if the collection is small enough, right? Then you can wear certain watches longer. But anyways, we'll get into that some other time. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your watches. I will surely enjoy this one that's finally come back, I guess, basically after a long time off the wrist. And that'd be cool. Later.